My parents locked me in my room, so I turned their security system against them. You're grounded indefinitely, Sophie, my mom said. No going out, no friends, no leaving this house for anything except school. This was all because I came home an hour late from volleyball practice. By dinner, Dad was drilling motion sensors into every door and window frame while I begged them to reconsider. But I have a study session with my friends tonight. Just let me leave this once. Mom wouldn't budge. You can study online. I kept arguing. What about Jess's birthday? What about my volleyball semifinals? This is for your safety, she replied, testing the app that would alert their phones if anything opened past 9 p.m. They actually went as far as to install reinforced windows in my room, thick glass that wouldn't budge more than 2 inches. But here's what my parents didn't realize. Their fancy system had patterns. The motion sensors had a 3-second reset between triggers. If I could just map these patterns, maybe I could make it to one practice, one party, one normal teenage moment. Mrs. Lane from next door probably thought I was crazy when she looked at me through the reinforced window as I was practicing my escaping skills. My first real escape attempt came when I tried reaching the kitchen for food at 11 a.m. in the night, but my parents caught me and recalibrated the sensors to work after 9 p.m. too. Later that week, I cracked the window for fresh air during a panic attack. By morning, Dad was power drilling them shut with wood screws, leaving only the 2-inch ventilation gap. You did this to yourself, he said, not even meeting my eyes, almost like he knew this was wrong. They even installed an electronic lock on my door after they caught me testing the door handle at 2 a.m. Each new addition made my chest tighter and my world smaller, until one particular morning. I was casually watching Mrs. Lane through my reinforced window. She was making tea in her yellow kettle. Then out of nowhere, she grabbed her chest, swayed, and crumpled onto her checkered linoleum. My scream brought both parents running. Mrs. Lane just collapsed. Call 911. Mom crossed her arms. Sophie, this manipulation needs to stop. I'm serious. She's not moving. Dad shook his head. We're not falling for another one of your tricks to get us to open the door. I just grabbed my phone and called 911 myself, hands shaking as I gave them the address. But as I was explaining who Mrs. Lane was, I saw black smoke starting to curl up from her stove, the kettle, the gas flame. The smoke thickened, pooling against her ceiling, spreading through her kitchen. I knew that if Mrs. Lane started to choke, then the ambulance might not make it in time, so I had no time left to argue with my parents. I moved and triggered everything at once, slamming my body against the door, jumping in front of every sensor, creating absolute chaos. Alarms shrieked from every direction, the app probably exploding with notifications. There's a fire! I screamed over the noise. Mom was shouting at Dad to find the system reset code, Dad yelling he couldn't remember it, both fumbling with their phones. Smoke was pouring from Mrs. Lane's kitchen window now. I grabbed my metal desk lamp, steadied its heavy base solid in my hands, and started slamming it against the reinforced glass. Nothing, so I did it again. The frame started to splinter. Again. A crack appeared. Again and again and again until the frame buckled and the glass hung loose. My parents burst in just as I was forcing my body through the jagged opening. Sophie, stop! Mom lunged forward, then froze, seeing the smoke billowing from next door. I hit the ground running, barefoot on wet grass, shoulder bleeding. Mrs. Lane's door was locked. I grabbed her garden gnome and shattered her kitchen window. The smoke poured out black and choking. She was so light when I dragged her out, unconscious but breathing, just as sirens filled the air. The fire captain stood in our living room an hour later, his boots leaving ash prints on Mom's cream carpet. 3 more minutes and the smoke inhalation would have been fatal. Your daughter saved that woman's life. He looked at my bandaged shoulder, then at my parents. Though I've got to ask, why did she have to break through a reinforced window to get out of her room? Mom's face was pale, Dad staring at the floor. The motion sensors came down that night.